I behavior. One of the most potent elements in body language is the eye behavior. You shift your eyes, meet another person's gaze, or fail to meet it, and produce an effect out of all proportions to the trifling muscular effort you have made. When two people look searchingly into each other's eyes, emotions are heightened and the relationship is tipped towards greater intimacy. In normal conversation, each eye contact lasts only about a second before one or both individuals look away. Because the longer meeting of the eyes is rare, it is weighted with significance when it happens and can generate a special kind of human to human awareness. Most of the time, a lingering look is interpreted as a sign of attraction, and this should be scrupulously avoided except in appropriate circumstances. A young woman once complained, "That man makes me so uncomfortable. Half the time when I glance at him, he is already looking at me and he keeps right on looking." Proper street behavior requires a balance of attention and intention. You are supposed to look at a passer by just enough to show that you are aware of his presence. If you look too little, you appear haughty or furtive; too much, and you are inquisitive. Usually, what happens is that people eye each other until they are about 8 feet apart, at which point both cast down their eyes. Much of eye behavior is so subtle that we react to it only on the intuitive level. This has been demonstrated in elaborate experiments. Subjects sit and talk in the psychologist's laboratory irrespective of the fact that their eye behavior is being observed from behind a non-way vision screen. In one fairly experiment, subjects were induced to cheat while performing a task, then were interviewed and observed. It was found that those who had cheated met the interview's eyes less often than was normal. An indication that shifty eyes can actually be a tip off to an attempt to deceive. A change in work. If a person feels tired after doing the same work for too long, he can do something else after a while. Instead of working 8 hours at one task, he can spend 1 or 2 hours on something else. Perhaps he sits down to work most of the time. He can give himself a break by working in a standing position once in a while. Perhaps he works with his mind most of the time. He can divert himself by doing some physical work. As soon as he does this, his tiredness disappears. We are not after the kind of recreation that the world is after. As long as we have a change in the things we do, we have a means to revive our fatigue. We can rearrange our lives a little. The principle of recreation is diversion. As long as we have a change in the kind of work we do, we have the necessary break we need. Enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is that mysterious something that turns an average person into an outstanding individual. Enthusiasm lifts us from fatigue to energy. pulls us from mediocrity to excellence, turns a bright light on our lives until our faces glow and our eyes sparkle. It's a spiritual magnet that draws happy people to us and a joyful fountain that bubbles and causes people to come to our sides and share our joy. Out of this fountain. There leaps a self confidence that shouts to the world, I can, it's possible, let's go. Enthusiasm is the long shot after fountain of youth. Old man who stopped to drink of its elixir suddenly dream new dreams. And mysterious energy surges through the body that movements before was fatigued, weary and old. It's a source of energy that never runs out. Drink from this fountain of enthusiasm and you will experience a miracle. Discouragement will fade away like the morning's fog in the noonday sun. Suddenly, you start laughing, whistling, and singing. You know you are a child of God. Enthusiasm, when someone offers it to you, take it, especially if you don't want it. Enthusiasm is God's beautiful gift to you. Happiness. Science cannot reduce the magic of a sunset to arithmetic, nor can it express friendship with a formula, observed the eminent medical researcher Dr. Luz Orr. He added, also beyond science, mastery of nature are love and laughter, pain and loneliness, and insights into truth and beauty. This distancing of science from the human condition perhaps explains why most foreign tourists visiting Britain flock predictability to see the hallowed homes of playwrights, writers, and poets, but choose to ignore the habitations where its eminent scientists lived and worked.